Okay, finally we are trying to accumulate together everything that we have covered in the last 5 or 6 weeks. The instruments of controlling the presentation. So that is why we are calling it presenting effectively. So the things that are needed for delivering a good presentation, an effective presentation. So first you have to do it in a structured way. Why? Because a study in Stanford says that your audience will remember more accurately, at least 40% more accurately when you have a structured presentation. So that is one thing, and it's also beneficial for the presenter, because if it is structured, there will be some entry points, there will be some exit points. Are you getting me? Say you have a subsection. So once you are getting into that subsection, so you have to remember, or there will be something on your slide that is actually, okay, let me tell you something, because I may sometimes speed up my talking. So if you think that you are not understanding, please, by all means, feel free to slow me down, okay? Raise your hand or say something. Sir, please go slow, or sir, I did not understand. My ultimate aim is to make your listening ability become better. So that is why I'm delivering this in English. So once you have a structured presentation or talk, what happens? You start with a section, then you end with that one, and then you move to a different section. So there are some checkpoints that one checkpoint will say that, once you have finished one section, that checkpoint will make you feel good. Yes, I have done some. So once you have, and you are also free mentally, that you don't have to remember that section anymore. That is good for our working memory, because I told you earlier that our working memory allows us to remember only a few things. It is actually 7 chunks of information. 7 chunks. 7 plus or minus 2. That means either 5 or either 9. How can we check? If you want to remember any mobile number, any smartphone number, then you will see that yes, it is really problematic because they have 11 digits. So you break it into some kind of carrier part, then you try to remember using mnemonics. Mnemonics, do we understand what is mnemonics? Mnemonics is actually some kind of technique to remember something using any kind of clue possible. It doesn't have to be anything logical. So this is almost like something that Amar barir kache gab gach tar naam Abbas. So that sort of thing, that you really don't have to do anything logical to remember that, but you take the help of something very familiar, and that makes you remember that thing very efficiently. So if you have chunks of information, say these are the transit points. Okay, so our working memory actually does not allow that many things to remember or hold or retain in a particular moment. So it's better if your presentation is structured. You do not have to remember all the things that your presentation must have. You just go one section, you finish that one, then you move on to the next. Okay, so that is the benefit of having a structured presentation. So when you have a structure, it must be something logical, So that is why we're calling it right logical structure. So first, what do you do? I mean, your content is there, but other than your content, say if we consider this as a box, this is the, I would say, the basic structure. Here, this is your introduction, this is your conclusion. And these are the content of the main talk. So what happens, usually you are given 10% of the time allotted, and 10% here, and 80% here. And you can kind of increase this one even to 15 or 20. Why? Because of this. So outside the content, you have something you have to do to make your presentation getting to your audience. So there comes the greeting the audience and introducing yourself. So when I first came to your class, I said my name is this, then I said I studied in such and such university. So that is to give you some idea that yes, this guy who's standing in front of us, he has the capability to teach us because he knows or he graduated from that particular university. So this is kind of building a rapport. Rapport, do you remember from, huh? No. That is, resonance is onuronan. Rapport means just astha, porichiti. And this is rapport. So that means that you are building a relationship built on trust with your audience. So that's the thing you build even before starting your main presentation. So first you greet the audience, then you introduce yourself, then you tell them your expertise. What are the things that you know that the audience doesn't know? Do you get me? The audience will expect that this is, I do not know anything about this topic, or probably I know something vaguely, but this person is an expert, the presenter, and he's going to inform me about this. So you have to, at the very beginning of your presentation, you have to make your audience trust that, believe that yes, I have something to get from this guy. Okay. Then you go to the general introduction about your presentation. What are those? Introduce your general topic. Say you are going to talk about something regarding AI, very buzz topic of today's time, right? Everyone is talking about this. But the thing is that once you are talking about AI, you have to actually explain the what side or what aspect of that particular area you are going to talk about. Because AI, everyone knows about AI, and everyone has a feel that yes, it is a good thing and that, right? But things are coming up from evidence, from experiments, that AI is not all that good as we expected. So if you can prove that, if you can explain that to your audience, how is it bad, or what are the dark side, what are the downsides of AI, then that becomes even more attractive, or your audience will feel very much interested to know that. So that is your topic area. Then you state the issues or the challenges in the area you'll be exploring. That means that yes, we know such and such thing about AI, but how is that making us vulnerable. Vulnerable means বিপদগ্রস্ত, ঠিক আছে? How's that meaning vulnerable? Say we know one thing for sure about AI, because AI will take the people's job away. The more we have AI doing the automated task, the more it is likely to take employment away from people. That is a real problem these days. So this is how you present your problems or the challenges, and then people will be very much interested to know what you have to say next. So this is before even getting to your main body of your presentation, you are still here. Now you will have to enter the main body of your presentation. Okay, now here are some phrases just to help you guys, that how do you make it interesting to your audiences. You can use phrases like, I will argue that AI is not all that good as it is touted to be. Touted, বুঝি কথাটা? Touted means প্রচার করা, but not entirely true. But you're saying something, well, this will bring us good things, this will be beneficial for us. এটাকে বলা হচ্ছে touted, touting. Yes, you can also call it fad, FAD, fad. All these are synonymous. So you say, I will argue that, or I will compare the good side and the bad side of AI, or I will analyze how we are being vulnerable to the downsides of AI. And also you can use those words like evaluate or describe, that sort of thing. And then you build up some sort of expectation in your audience, like saying something like this: I'm hoping this will provide you with some kind of knowledge, some familiarity, or some tools to guard against the bad effects of AI. So you are hinting on some kind of solution. You're not really saying the solution right at this moment, that is coming later, but you are building some kind of expectation in your audience that yes, we can get some solution from this guy, right? So this is the then you show them that what are your, because you see when you are planning to make a good presentation, there is some sort of participation from the audience. If the audience is very passive or they are not really reacting that much, your presentation will not be rated or ranked very good. So the thing is that then you have to make your audience participate, not verbally. Probably they're nodding or they are interested. You have to give them something at the very outset. প্রথমেই, মানে beginning এই, you have to give them something. So that is a preview or the sequence of your presentation. So we have all seen that in this presentation we will look into this. So you have something in bullet point, right? 4 or 5 things that these are the things we'll discuss. So that is the preview. That is called the sequential preview. Preview মানে ভিউয়েরই আগে, মানে you do not go into the actual thing. You have some sort of hint that this is the stuff we'll be covering. So here you have another thing you have to do. You have to really give some information to your audience, like the length of the talk. You can say that, well, we are going to talk about the problems of AI for 15 minutes. Then we are going to talk about its results, or consequences or evidences for another 10 minutes. Then we'll talk about the solutions for 15 minutes. Then after that, I have a question and answer session. That in that session, I will invite you to question me regarding whatever that comes to your mind. So AJ, you are building a sequence and you're letting your audience know, so they are getting prepared that yes, whatever I do to interact with the presenter, I have a plan. I know what is he going to do. And also you are supposed to make it clear to them that whether you want them to question you regarding topics inside your presentation or after the presentation, that you have to let them know. And also you can provide them with some sort of handouts. Do we understand handouts? Like these are nothing, but most of the time they are something. Who's pairing? Bluetooth. Someone is pairing? No. Okay. So what is going on that once you give them some sort of handout, especially that happens during the instructive or informative presentations. You go to a seminar or a workshop, they give you some handouts, you can take some notes, something extra that is not written there. Most of the time these are all whatever written on the slide, that will be in the handouts. So if you feel something, if you discover something, or if you want to quote something from the presenter's sequence, then you can write it down. So that is the intention. And also you are kind of making an impression on your audience that you care for them. You are letting them, you are very much invested. Invested kothata bujhi? Yeah, I care for your understanding. I care for that. I care that you take something from this presentation. You take home something. Take home bujhi? Je সাথে করে নিয়ে যা. So this is the part where these are also just notice that we haven't still started the main body of the presentation. These are all the preparatory stages that you have to go through. And remember also one more thing, that all these things should be done not in details. Because say you have 30 minutes, you have spent already 15 or 20 minutes with this. No, that's not good. So you have to be very much crafty, or you have to plan ahead so that this becomes takes less time, but you cover a lot. Like abstraction, you say something in general, because you have to go to something later in details in the main body of your presentation. Is it clear to you? This is also another tools you can use. When you are talking to your audience, you have to check whether they are following you or not. Not for the sake of them only, it's for you too. Because then you have to remember, we talked about adapting to your audience. Say I understand that the way I'm talking now, it is not getting to you. So what I have to do? I have to change, or I have to try another way. So that is called adapting to the audience. Is this something important that you guys are doing? Please follow me, because you guys are distracting me too. Anyway, so yes, we have covered this. Now you go to the main body of your talk. This is where you make good on your promises. Make good on your promises, Maniki? you have made a promise in the introduction that I will talk about this, I'll give you the solution. This is the place where you start. You go into details, you explain the things, you explain the situation, you explain the problems, okay? So there is also one more thing, that you have to look at the nature of your presentation. Remember those 4 types of presentation? So depending whether this is instructive or this is informative, you have to structure the segments. And there are many different ways you can structure them. It doesn't have to be only chronologically. Chronologically বুঝি আমরা? Time wise. Say you want to talk about the history of Bangladesh. So where do you start? Do we start at 1947 or 1971? No, we go way beyond. We go back to, say, 1,000 years. Because these are in this land, we would be called a different country, maybe whole of India or something, but still our forefathers মানে পূর্বপুরুষ, and our ancestors, they had been living here for so long. So what do you have to do? You have to bring out some timeline, and according to that timeline, you just say, this is the thing, that's how it progressed, that's how we evolved, these things came out, and that sort of thing. So that is called chronologically. And also there is a thing called reverse chronological order. You are talking about something at present, then you go back in the past. So you are talking about 2024. Then you go to 1971, then you go to 1947, then you go to 1910, or way backward. So that is called reverse chronological order. You go back I would say in the opposite direction. So there are other way you can also segment your presentation by priority. Priority means need. At this moment, what should I do first? What should I do next? And what should I even do even after that? So that is called priority. Another thing is called theme. What sort of thing are you talking about? So should I place this first, or should I place that at the back? So if you are talking about different themes, say you are talking about something that has to relate with social development or that sort. So there are different aspects of social development. So these will be your themes. Okay? Remember, here we are not really doing it very not in details. We're just looking at this structure, and then we are trying to put things in their places. So the last thing would be, not the last actually, it's probably the second last, because after that there will be some informal thing like asking for questions or asking for opinions of your audience, that sort of thing. That's the last thing. But the formal last thing, this is the formal last thing, is conclusion. So remember, here we are also talking about remembering the limitations of our working memory. What happens is that the thing you said before, it gets lost by the thing you are saying now. That's a normal thing, because we have a limited memory. So whatever I'm saying now, that has erased or pushed out the content that I have said before from your memory, from your working memory. But if you have taken notes, probably that is staying also, because I don't know whether you had that in your schools or colleges, that you are supposed to memorize something and then you're supposed to write it, or you're taking notes. What happens? That is transferring the content from your working memory to your long-term memory. It is like you are transferring something from your RAM, from your computer's RAM, to the hard disk. Am I making myself clear? So that you can do with taking notes. But other than that, when you are listening, the sequences, whatever is said before gets erased or gets pushed out. So your conclusion is your chance to hammer back. Hammer back means you just use your hammer to nail it on your audience's memory. That yes, we have we have discussed about these things. Now you are supposed to remember. So here you make a summary of whatever you have said before. If you had made some detailed presentation, here it will only come in the form of a summary, like some bullet point things that we have talked about this, that, and so on. But what happens is that whenever you are making this, your audience is actually remembering, yes, we started at that point, now we have come here, so that is the whole thing. So you're kind of helping them to remember the whole thing in a concise, short way. So that is very important for your presentation. Okay, so I think we are done with the formal part. Now the informal ending. Informal ending, you are thanking your audience that yes, you guys have been awesome. You have been very patient in listening to my presentation. I really thank you all. Now, you might have some questions. If you have any question, please shoot that at me. So that is the informal part. But what happens? This is usually an informal session, but you have to plan it ahead because people are asking questions. You have to be really ready for that. So that is why we are calling that set aside adequate time for the discussion in the Q&A. Q&A means question and answer. So you have to have adequate বুঝি আমরা যথেষ্ট পর্যাপ্ত. So that is the thing. What time it is now? Should we go for the presentations? How many of you are here today willing to make the presentation? Second presentation. Huh? Okay, I guess I'll stop here for this. We'll start with or maybe we can cover the opening side. We have 12:15, right? So we can go up to 12:30. Okay, all right. So to make your presentation even very much glossy মানে কি? So you have to have some kind of effective opening and closing. So effective meaning you start with something very good, so your audience is very much willing to stay. They will not leave after you finish your introduction. that is the very humiliating thing. Humiliating বুঝো মানে খুবই অপমানজনক ব্যাপার. You just finished your introduction and your audience started to leave. Oh no, this guy is not good. Oh, we won't have anything from him, so we better leave. We better save our time doing something else. So that's why you need some kind of effective opening. And closing is also should be very much for the reasons I have stated before, that you want them to leave with something solid. So your closing helps in doing that. So when you are going about, this is the structure I have drawn here. The first bullet points talks about this, that you have to have 10 to 15% in the introductory part, then your 80% in the content, and 10% in the closing part. Okay, so when you have an effective opening, you are supposed to have these sort of objectives. Get the attention and interest of your audience. We have already talked about this, that how to hook up your audience. You are saying something interesting, you start with a story, or you start with a very burning issue. That is the effective opening. Then you reveal the topic of your speech. Have you seen, I think many of you have seen the debates on TV, right? They do not straightforward start, I'm doing this debate. No, they don't say that. They bring forth some sort of paragraph or some real issues. Then they say, today's topic is, we'll discuss about this. So we have to, then they say, Manuniya Umuk and Umuk, I'm going to talk in favor of this motion. Motion means that there is a topic, you're talking in favor, while others will talk in opposition. So this is how you reveal your topic. Then you establish your credibility. Credibility means the same thing. You are building a rapport there. You're talking about, you're giving them some good information at the very beginning, that some statistics says such and such. So that supports your topic. That supports your title of your topic. So that is a good building. And then you preview your body of the speech. Like I said before, you list them. And finesse. Do you know the meaning of this? Finesse. এটাকে এইভাবে মনে রাখতে পারো. Fineness. Finesse means something that is very carefully crafted, smartly crafted, smartly তৈরি করা হচ্ছে. So you are talking very efficiently. So people will say that is the finesse of your speaking skill. So how you do that? You share a compelling quotation or story. Compelling story means very attractive or very, it doesn't have to be very positive story. Sometimes it can be very, I would say, very much sad story you can start with, but the inner intention, your expectation as a presenter will be to hook up your audience so that they become interested to listen to what you have to say next. Or you're posing a question. Yes, in today's Bangladesh, we had a mass uprising in July. We expected a lot of things, but we are not really getting things, we are not seeing things happening as we expected. So you guys, what do you think went wrong here? So you're posing a question to your audience. Then your audience like steers up and then they say, right, we have to think about this. So that's how you use it. Relating unusual information, something people did not really hear. So you give them that, so they become very interested. Using humor, you're cutting jokes. Or the other day I was probably saying a joke like doing something inappropriate, not doing something right at the right time. I said about a story. Did I tell you that or in the other class? Like one guy, one alim, he goes to a village in the winter and he says, well, you cannot have quilts made out of women's saris. That is not right. So okay, at night he is given a place to stay and he's not given anything. So he's like shivering in cold, and he asked that particular landlord, why aren't you giving me some kind of quilt or lep or toshok, something like that. Hujur, you said we cannot use anything made with women's saris. That's why we have not given something. The alim was caught in his own trap. So this is the using humor. That's how you do it. Referring to the audience and the occasion. Yeah, sometimes you were praising the audience that yes, you are here in numbers. Mane onek shonkhay onek. So it really shows that you guys are very much eager to solve this problem. Yes, we can solve it together. We have to brainstorm together, and then we can get some solution. So you are making them interested. So these are the techniques or tricks that we can use for hooking up people in my introduction. That is called the finesse of introduction. Other techniques are like this. You practice the opening over and over until you can deliver it smoothly from a minimum of notes and with strong eye contact. That means you have practiced it so many times. Like I said, Steve Jobs used to practice everything at least 100 times before delivering it. So why is that? Because he did not want to leave any scope for mistake. So once you practice, you just become very good at it. So that was the intention. And when you know it by heart, what happens? You don't have to really, you don't become nervous. You make good eye contact with everyone, and then they get the message. So that is kind of elevating you as a presenter. Don't start talking too soon. You come here and then you start talking. No, you let your audience settle down. Because what happens? Sometimes people really do not know you. You're sitting in the front row and then your name is announced. Then you go to the podium or the dais or the stage. Then you start delivering your message. So people are talking. So you give them some time. You go there and you just smile a little bit, and then they settle down, they quiet down, then you start talking. And establish eye contact with the audience, smile, and then launch your words. So you talk, before even starting talking, you look at them, you smile, and this is like a non-verbal exchange of your sincerity. You're showing them, yes, I feel for you, and then I'm waiting for you to listen to me. So that is your finesse. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll talk about it about the closing in the next class. Okay, can you?